Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about a release from earlier this year, VFW. Before we begin, let me know in the comments if you were looking forward to this or what your thoughts were if you've seen it already, and make sure to give this a thumbs up if you like these reviews. It helps me out immensely if you do that. Also, if you're new here and you like movies, whether it be blockbusters, hidden gems, or everything in between, please consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with reviews of new releases and some classics. But now, let's jump right into it. This film primarily takes place in a VFW bar where a group of older veterans regularly get together, have a few drinks, and a few laughs. When a woman, played by Sierra McCormick, takes shelter in the bar, they discover she's on the run from a local drug dealer. When the dealer's gang descends on the bar, the veterans put their lives on the line to get her to safety. This was released all the way back in February, and I didn't see it till much later, but I've been wanting to talk about it for a while, especially because I don't think it got the attention it deserved at the time. It's written and directed by Joe Begos, who directed a number of films before this, including Bliss, The Mind's Eye, and Almost Human. None of which I've seen, but from a glance they all appear to be these surreal horror experiences. And we get that as well here, between the antagonists, who are these crazed goons, its unique color palette, its synth-heavy score, and its over-the-top violence. One thing worth noting is that it's heavily influenced by John Carpenter's movies, as well as 80 movies in general and B movies. It's a very interesting mix. The setup of this gang infiltrating one setting is very reminiscent of Assault on Precinct 13, and I even got some Escape from New York vibes as well. The soundtrack will also give you some of the biggest 80s feels since Stranger Things, plus with the way the camera moves around very freely, zooming in and making these extreme close-ups, on top of the fact it's shot on film, it'll make the movie feel very frantic and raw, similar to a lot of B movies from the 80s, and from the 70s as well for that matter. It's an extremely violent movie with a lot of blood splattering all over the place, and since some of the veterans aren't carrying around guns, they're forced to improvise using a variety of homemade weapons from around the bar. Like, they'll use things such as pool cues or deer antlers. It gets very creative in the way in which some of these fights are set up, and it'll be relentless. These villains attack the bar in droves, and when the veterans fight back, not only are they able to just immediately go back into combat mode after so many years, but they just go after these guys in the most extreme ways possible. Heads will explode, limbs will get hacked off, one guy gets kneed in the face repeatedly until blood's gushing. But because of the movie's fun tone, the way in which these old men fight back will come off as darkly comical at times. Though I will say, it's not going to be a movie for everyone. If you're not big into fast-paced action movies with this low-budget sort of feel, this might not be up your alley. It's not very character-based or story-based. I mean, the characters aren't one-dimensional. We do learn a little bit about them in the first act as they're mostly trading stories in the bar, and we get a good sense of their personalities. They're all very close, they have this sense of camaraderie, they tend to crack vulgar jokes. We also see how the wars they were in affected some of them, so we do get enough in the beginning that makes us want to be invested in them, though the rest of the movie isn't focused on some major arc other than just them trying to survive. Though despite not being a performance-heavy film, the entire cast is awesome, and it's full of people I immediately wouldn't think of as stars. They're mostly character actors who were big in the 70s and 80s, but were mainly known for one or two big roles despite being in a ton of other things. Stephen Lang, who's best known these days as the villain in Avatar and the guy from Don't Breathe, is the main character. You also have William Sadler, who's the Grim Reaper from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Martin Kove, who's the antagonistic sensei from The Karate Kid, David Patrick Kelley, who's the villain from The Warriors, George Wendt, who's Norm from Cheers, and Fred Williamson, who is similarly a veteran fighting to survive in a bar in From Dusk Till Dawn. I would never think to have these guys make up the majority of the main cast in a movie, but they're all awesome. They're very funny, they're all badass, especially Stephen Lang, who's the bar owner and leader of the group, and they have great chemistry with each other. They're also joined by Tom Williamson, who I'm not as familiar with, but he plays a younger soldier who stops by the bar to pay his respects to the older veterans, and he does a great job, as does Sierra McCormick, who had a star turn in The Vast of Night, also from this year. They were all very enjoyable to watch together. And while, as I mentioned, there isn't exactly a character arc besides just survive, and it'll make a few of the characters feel disposable, we spend enough time with them at the beginning that you'll care about them, and there's such a fast-paced energy about the film in general that you'll have a lot of fun with this. This is a fun, very to-the-point B movie. It's not the deepest movie by any means, there isn't a complex story or a ton of character development, but it's frantic, chaotic, and just an absolute blast. It has some fun performances by a very charismatic cast, likable characters, a nice retro feel, and plenty of gory, over-the-top action that will make it an enjoyable watch. If you haven't seen it by now, definitely check it out. VFW gets an 8 out of 10. So let me know, did you see VFW or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you like the action? Did you like the cast? And what's one of your favorite movies from the 80s? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll catch you next time.